Well, good morning, kids. Time for the wake and bake. Although this morning it may be a rant, because I need to do a public service announcement. Jasper, you gonna come photobomb? Okay, come on. Come on, get on through. Lay down. Attaboy. Attaboy. Lay down. Come on. Because we're going to be talking about you and your dad and Onyx and service dogs. Because so many know so little about so much. This might be a good way to get the word out. Here in Hilo, people are really not up to speed on the law, and I constantly have to educate people because Jasper being a service dog, they're always like, no dogs allowed. I go, you need to read the laws, and that's what I'm going to do. So I have this little thing from the ADA that I have, and I carry in my wallet to give managers of restaurants and things like this that want to go on and tell me about how the health department doesn't allow. Anyway, here we go with some of the commonly asked questions about service animals in a place of business. What are the laws that apply to my business? Under American Disabilities Act, privately owned businesses that serve public, such as restaurants, hotels, retail stores, taxi cabs, theaters, concert halls, and sports facilities, are prohibited from discriminating against individuals with disabilities, and the ADA requires these businesses to allow people with disabilities to bring their service animals onto a business premises in whatever areas customers are generally allowed. Any area, every area, on the plane, in the bathroom, in your doctor's office. Anyway, what is a service animal? And this is important because a lot of people use a lot of different animals. But, a service animal defined by the ADA is any guide dog, signal dog, or animal individually trained to provide assistance to an individual with disability. And Jasper is the latter. If they meet this definition, animals are considered service animals under the ADA, regardless of whether they have been licensed or certified by a state or local government. And this state has no certification. There is no national certification. Service animals perform some of the functions and tasks that individuals with disabilities cannot perform for him or herself. Seeing eye dogs are one type of service animal used by some individuals who are blind. This is a type of service animal which most people are familiar. But there are service animals that assist people with disabilities in their day-to-day activities, and some of these include alerting persons to hearing impairments, to sounds, pulling wheelchairs or carrying and picking up things for persons with mobility impairments, assisting a person with mobility impairments with balance. A service animal is not a pet. Kids are working. How can I tell if an animal is really a service animal and not just a pet? Some, but all service animals wear special collars and harnesses. Some, but not all, are licensed and certified and have identification papers. If you are not certain that an animal is a service animal, you may ask the person who has the animal if it is a service animal required because of a disability. That's it. However, an individual who is going into a restaurant or theater is not likely to be carrying documentation of his or her medical condition or disability. Therefore, such documentation generally may not be required as a condition for providing service to an individual accompanied by a service animal. And although a number of states have programs to certify service animals, you may not be insisted on proof of state certification before permitting the animal to accompany the person with a disability. And otherwise, don't interrupt the person doing what they're doing just because they have a partner with them and the partner has 4 legs, you know. Oh, let's see, what's another important one I wanted to touch on? If you refuse, let's see, my county health department has told me that only a seeing eye dog or a guide dog has to be admitted. If I follow those regulations, am I violating the ADA? Yes, you are. If you refuse to admit any other type of service animal on the basis of local health department regulations or other state laws, because the ADA provides greater protection for individuals with disabilities, so it takes a priority over state and local law or regulations. That people didn't know that. It's a federal ADA law is why. And they have cleaning up and barks, and so that's the ADA, and there's actually it goes into more. And you know, how can I exclude an animal? It doesn't really seem dangerous but disruptive. And yeah, there are a few circumstances when public accommodation not required to accommodate a service animal, that is, when doing would result in a fundamental alteration in the nature of business, generally not likely to occur in restaurants, hotels, and real estate theaters. I mean, I keep saying real estate, but it's real. Retail stores and theaters, concert halls, and sports facilities, but when it does, for example, when a dog barks during a movie, the animal can be excluded. If you have further questions, and also, like, if the dog barks or growls at people, you can exclude that animal, because, you know, service dogs are not supposed to be barking at other people or other dogs or doing anything but paying attention to their owner. Now, Jasper, I don't think has ever barked in public in his life. I can't remember a time. Now, in Hawaii, we go even further than the ADA, because there is a attachment P on in the ADA, Hawaii ADA, and it describes types of dogs, and it asks, how can I tell if an animal is really a service or assistance animal and not a pet? And that's a good question, because a lot of people bring their pets with them, and they buy a vest for them online, or they make a ID card up with their computer and download a card and download a little placard. It means nothing if the dog's not trained, because like when Jasper and I go into Home Depot or anywhere, and well, Home Depot is pretty cool in Hawaii. They let anybody bring a dog in there because they don't want you leaving your dog in your car getting hot. So, you know, kudos for Home Depot. But you know, Classy List, Walmart, Safeway, any other regular grocery stores. I haven't had any problem in years with because Jasper's father before him, Sardonyx, was my service dog, and he was bigger and looked badder because he has a big spike collar I made for Onyx 25 years ago. God, that collar's old. And so anyway, when I have taken Jasper into places, and other people got their little pouponnet dogs sitting in their carts with their little vests on, these little, you know, going to get some of you guys upset because I call them rat dogs, especially those little hairless ones. They look like a rat dog. My cat's bigger than some of those dogs, and they're not a seeing eye dog. They're not a balanced dog, and they're not a hearing dog, and they're not a service dog because they're barking at my dog. And Jasper looks at him like, "Ha, busted! You're not supposed to be barking at me. You don't see me barking at you." So that's a tell-all. Now I don't know if the person's disabled or not, and it's not my kuleana to, you know, judge people if they are or if they aren't, because I have a good story for you about that, an actual one. So this also says the same. If some but not all service animals wear collars and harnesses, and some are licensed or certified and have papers, but not all. And so you can ask people, if the person answers yes, you should generally accept his or her word for proof unless the animal's behavior indicates otherwise. If the dog is, you know, wagging his tail and running around and greeting people, that dog is not working. A service dog is a working dog. Kitty, you just photobombed the picture. That's okay. And you know, on appearances, you know, my 6'2", 190-pound frame looks like I'm perfectly in great shape, and don't even look like I'm in the middle of my 60s. If it wasn't for all my gray hair. But you can't tell what's inside a person's body. Like yesterday I was standing, where was I? Oh, in Cost-U-Less, waiting for them to bring the pallet of dog food up, and my right knee I could feel, you know, like crackling inside the joint there, like, what? It was really painful. But there are times where, you know, one knee, I tore both my knee ligaments in, what was that, 2010, and never had surgery. I just let them heal themselves. I was up on a 20-foot extension ladder on the top of it, so my feet were at least 15 feet off the ground, with a chainsaw, cutting Rosa's tree that was about ready to fall on her power line and take it out. So I went over to Rosa's and was topping the tree, and when the top of it was a palm tree, and the top fell over and fell onto the top canopy of the mango tree, which didn't let it pass through. It glanced off, and it came back and hit the ladder and pushed the ladder off the coconut tree because it wasn't tied off. Shame on me. And here goes the ladder. It's going down. And I have a choice. I either can hang on to that ladder and ride it, or turn around and jump to the street. And since I am an ex-gymnast, that was my choice. So I landed squarely on 2 feet, down to 2 knees, and then down to 2 hands. And the chainsaw was in one hand. So that hand was kind of protected. and the other hand got some gravel in the palm. I had no business being up on a ladder with, you know, my back. But now, I injured my knees to go along with it. I'll tell you the story about my back someday. That's a long one in itself. When the summer of '74, when the day Nixon quit. Anyway, I'm digressing. Oh, where were we, Jasper? I forget. Oh, that one story about the guy who parked in the disability parking spot. Young guy, in his 20s, and I had a placard too. I didn't renew it last time because I'm doing much better than I was 10 years ago when I freshly tore my knee ligaments. I do believe they're getting stronger. Besides, Jasper's there, so I'm not in a wheelchair. I don't need a parking spot. But this young guy, pulls in there, and he had a placard, and some older guy, younger than me but older than him, probably in his 40s, late 40s, early 50s, and he comes up and says to the guy, what's a young guy like you doing parking in the disability spot? And the guy sort of ignored him, and the guy said, "Don't ignore me. I asked you a question." Like, whoa, dude, pushy. And the young guy looked at him, and he didn't say nothing. And he reached to his side. He had a buck knife thing on the side of his belt. He takes the buck knife out, flips it open, and stabs himself in the thigh. And the guy looks at him like, "What the huh?" And the knife is sticking in his thigh, but it's not bleeding. He's got a prosthetic leg. That really shut that guy up. And I wish I had a video of that. Because that's just like, man, mind your own effing business. It's not your job. So anyway, don't ever judge a book by its cover, because you just don't know. On the dogs, though, they'll tell. A dog will tell you if he's a service dog or not. If he's barking at you when he's supposed to be a service dog, he's telling you, "I'm not." So that's my little public service announcement. I still get crap all the time. The owners association here, going to the board meetings, and there was one lady who was on the board. She lost this time. She's a loser now. And so many are so happy that she's gone. But one night I missed the board meeting, and she goes on and on about a rant and my dog and her allergy and the carpet and la-da-da-da. I'm telling you, my dog probably gets more showers than she does. Hi, Jasper, you smell so good right now because you got shampoo last night. Anyway, she's gone. We're good. Tenacity is a hell of a thing. I should read you guys Peter's Laws. You can look them up online, but they've added so many to them. But the original ones were good. Maybe I'll cut this short, and we'll go read Peter's Laws. Or, what was the other thing? There was another, oh yeah, service dog thing. Well, there's been a couple. The Maku'u Market, bad. And they charge people for disability parking on top of that. Illegal. There's fights I could do all day long as an advocate for the disabled. But it's not like I don't have a couple other things in my life I have to do. I do take them on from time to time when blatant violators, like a doctor in town, and I should say her name, but maybe I won't. I'll give her a break. She'll be hearing from the American Disabilities Association. There's a Hawaii Civil Rights Commission who has the video of her refusing Jasper admittance to the doctor's office after we made an appointment and filled out all the papers, paid $20 to drive my truck to town. And this lady says, well, there's a thing on the paper there. It says no dogs allowed, including service dogs. I'm going, oh, lady, I can't believe you guys put that in writing. She goes, well, the doctor has allergies. I go, well, take a pill. She's a doctor. They have allergy pills. They don't have disability allergy, disability pills. Oh my God. For a doctor not to know is just unbelievable. But she was only a dermatologist, so my PCP, my dentist, when I go to the dentist and they do an x-ray on and put the lead apron on me, they get another lead apron and put it on Jasper. They know him well. And yeah, who's going to be the next one is the thing. When you have a litter, there's always one that stands out. There's always one or two puppies in the litter that are, for me it's always been one. There's always been one who is ahead of the rest, who's the fastest, the smartest, the biggest, the strongest, the one that pays attention more than the other ones, just running around being puppies. Jasper was that one. He definitely was that one. And his dad, Sardonyx, before him, who was a big brindle, was just saved my life. When Mango tossed me straight up in the air, I came and took off. So when I came down, he was not there, and bruised my butt bone and broke my right wrist, because that's what I landed on, my butt and my arm. And it knocked the wind out of me, so I'm there laying on the ground, not knowing if, my back is tweaked. And I call for Sardonyx, who was in the house. So he comes out the door. Sardonyx can open and close the doors just like Jasper. I stick his nose in there and open that door. And so Sardonyx comes out, and I grab his chain around his neck, and that boy drugged me into the house to a phone. I was gonna call, 911. I don't know why, because I'm not going to get in the ambulance and I'm not going to go to the hospital. I got to feed the animals. It was feeding time. So not only did I break my wrist, I didn't know it was broken yet till the next day. But I, just wrapped it in an ace bandage and, had to feed all the animals. And then I came back in the house and I was drilling coins for a costume I was making to make a chainmail kind of, with the coins. And I didn't even know till the next day. I went to the urgent care in Pohoa, and the guy says, you got to go to Hilo and get that x-rayed. It's probably broken. Yeah, nah. I don't want to drive to Hilo, so I drove all the way to Hilo to the bone doctor, and he x-rayed it, and yeah, it was broken, and yeah, we got to put a cast on it, and yeah, you got to have it. Nah, never had a cast in my life. So here I was, stuck in my right hand. Boy, that really makes things, you become ambidextrous real quick, because you realize things that you take for granted you do with your right hand. I'm not going to go into some of the things. I'll leave it to your imagination. But anyway, Jasper's dad, Sardonyx, we took him down to the pit bull gathering at the Bayfront one year, and it was really funny because they had a sled that they hooked the pit bulls up to in a harness to, drag it on this track. And I says, I walk over there and says, hey, can we hook up sardonyx to this? And they go, yeah, sure. So they do it in the sled, and one guy sits on it, a couple hundred. His first try, I go, that's nothing. So two more big Hawaiian guys, linebackers, good 250, closer to 300 pounders get on there. And I ask them, what's that total with the sled? They go 900. I go, okay. So I get in front of sardonyx. I go, come on. And he digs in, and he pulled 900 pounds like it was nothing. So, him dragging me in the house was no problem. That boy was strong. Jasper's not as strong, but the main thing for Jasper is if my knee goes out or if my back goes out, then he's there to catch me, and you don't leave him behind like a cane or in the case of nothing and you got 6 feet off the ground, you go straight down to that concrete. I'm telling you, that's not fun. So yeah, it's a sensitive thing, and people really just need to have manners. We were taught when we were young. There was a girl in school that had a seeing eye dog, a blind girl, and you didn't go over there and pester her or pester the dog, or respect, man. It's one thing if someone has a vest on a dog and the dog's acting like a nut and not but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this short, and then I'm gonna go turn the pond on because the water level's low, and let you guys have some of that, but I gotta do them separate. So for now, a hui ho.